Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today we would be talking about the different tourism types, and I have divided the whole topic into three parts. And today we will learn about agrotourism, ecotourism, wildlife tourism, rural tourism, sustainable tourism, and responsible tourism. Now, one thing you would notice in all these tourism types is that they are all centered around the environment, stating the responsible tourism and working around the sustainable elements. We will take each tourism type and learn what it is, its features, its characteristics, and see the examples from India and abroad, and we will understand how it can prosper in the future. So, the first tourism type is agrotourism. So, if I state it in a very simple manner, agrotourism can be thought of as a crossroad of tourism and agriculture. And if I state it more technically, agrotourism can be defined as a form of commercial enterprise that links agricultural production or processing with tourism in order to attract visitors into a farm, a ranch, or other agricultural businesses for the purpose of entertaining or educating the visitors and generating income for the farm, ranch, or the business owner who is operating that agri-tourism. Now, the definition of agri-tourism should include few factors into it. It should combine the elements of tourism and agricultural industry. It should attract members of the public to visit agricultural operations. It should be designed to increase farm income, and it should provide recreation, entertainment, or educational experiences to visitors. Now, interchangeably, different terms were used and they are still in use. It can be termed as agrotourism, agri-tourism, agri-tainment, or agricultural tourism. And we have ATDC, Agri Tourism Development Corporation, which started in 2005 and is closely related to agri-tourism industry. And the main projects that they are having are in Pune area. Malshej Agrotourism and Deorai Farms are one of the examples of it. And according to the ATDC survey, they have seen a certain increase in the tourist growth in the centers, and they have even generated many jobs for the women. And it generated 35.79 million INR for the Indian farmers' family. Next, the second tourism type is ecotourism. So it is basically a concept where we think of preserving the nature, its pristine form, by limiting the number of visitors to the place. And we can utilize the local producers, hire the locals to work in the industry, and create a very bare minimum carbon footprint, and so that we can utilize the money generated within the community and keep the ecology intact in that area. Mainly, if we consider India, mainly the national parks and the wildlife sanctuaries, which are ecological hotspot areas, they will be considered as the major biodiversity zones. Now, ecotourism has been broadly defined as tourism which is ecologically sustainable, and the concept of sustainability subsumes the environmental carrying capacity of the given area. And the Ministry of Tourism has given certain guidelines. The first is the local community should be involved, leading to the overall economic development of the area. So the local community needs to be involved when ecotourism places or zones are being set up. Second is the likely conflicts between the resource use for ecotourism and the livelihood of local inhabitants should be identified, and attempts should be made to minimize the same. So there shouldn't be any conflict in regards to the resource usage. The third is the type and scale of ecotourism development should be compatible with the environment and the socio-cultural characteristics of the local community. And the last point is it should be planned as a part of the overall development strategy, guided by an integrated land use plan, avoiding inter-sectoral conflicts and ensuring sectoral integration associated with commensurate expansion of public services. Now, further ahead, what Ministry of Tourism has done is to encourage the stakeholders to promote different ecotourism practices. They have started few categories of awards. They have introduced best eco-friendly hotel, or best responsible tourism project, or best eco-friendly practices by the tour operators, so that they take it in a serious manner and they can promote it as well. And now we will be seeing how Tamil Nadu tourism policy has talked about ecotourism. What they have done is they have developed a separate wing for the development of ecotourism to promote the sustainability by integrating facilities at the hill stations, waterfall areas, forests, bird sanctuaries, wildlife sanctuaries, and national parks for the benefit of the tourist. And various packages were also developed to promote ecotourism in the state on a sustainable basis without causing any damage to the environment and wildlife. So the basic concept or the basic notion of ecotourism has been kept intact and tried so that that can be implemented as it is directed by the Ministry of Tourism. So MOT in their 12th 5-year plan have come forward with few examples where they can work on the diversity, on the carrying capacity of those diverse areas, and they have suggested different sites so that they can cover different types of eco zones, which include mountains, the national parks, the deserts and grasslands, and destination towns like Leh in Ladakh, Manali, Shimla in Himachal Pradesh, Yarkad, and different other places along with the island sector also. Next comes the rural tourism. Now, the concept developed in combination to ecotourism itself. So people who have a very fast life, city life, they would always want some time off and experience the rural lifestyle. So this can be very beneficial for the local economy to grow, as a popular accommodation option would be staying with the locals, and also by that the way the locals can be given employment and won't become hostile towards a tourist coming in, because that will give them a symbiotic relationship between each other. So now, according to the Ministry of Tourism, rural tourism is any form of tourism that showcases the rural life, art, culture, and heritage at rural locations. So thereby benefiting the local community economically and socially, as well as enabling interaction between the tourists and the locals for a more enriching tourism. So under the scheme to promote rural tourism in the country, the thrust is for development of tourism infrastructure at the identified rural sites. So there are different circuits that are being designed by the government so that they can be worked on and the rural tourism can be developed. A maximum of around 50 lakh is sanctioned for each project under this scheme for development of tourism, and so that they can develop the infrastructure also in this area. So almost every state is within that rural tourism circuit. Now, the Tamil Nadu tourism policy. If we see that rural tourism development is undertaken with the assistance of the Government of India and United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. Government of India funds the hardware component, that is the infrastructure, and UNDP funds the software component, that is the capacity building. And it is implemented with the assistance of the local NGOs. So overall, there are 18 rural tourism projects that have been funded with a total outlay of rupees 6.21 crores. So what it does, it enables exposure of children brought up in the urban areas to the rural life. Now, this concept of rural tourism has emerged as a new one, and in this context Meghalaya tourism is fast evolving, and they have a responsible and sustainable tourism viewpoint also. And what they are thinking is that the tourism product should have a social objective through people's participation, and rural tourism fits very correctly into it, and it can be effectively implemented to boost the tourism in the state. So rural tourism will ensure the dispersal of tourists from city to villages, enabling them to familiarize themselves with the unique culture and heritage prevalent, so that they are rejuvenated and culturally enriched, so that they can know how these places are, how the culture is, how the heritage is. The prime objective is to harness the vast untapped rural tourism perspective of the state, so that their multiplier benefit filters out directly to the rural community. And similar programs were taken up by the NGOs and other agencies, with all the also be streamlined by the bringing them under the one umbrella for convergence in the development and promotion of the product. Now, Ministry of Tourism's final report, the 12th five-year plan final report, the scheme says a rural tourism scheme was formulated in 2002, focusing on developing tourism-related infrastructure, and the later was supplemented and complemented by a pilot project, which was given the name of Indigenous Tourism Project, ETP, in collaboration with UNDP. So this project aimed at convergence of issues like sustainable livelihoods, gender equality, empowerment of women, youth, and other disadvantaged sections of the community, and working towards cultural sensitivity, environmental sustainability, etc. So this was planned in such a way that it should be providing opportunities to build capacities and bringing together specialists who could advise and assist in areas such as appropriate infrastructure development, use of local materials, institution building, waste management, and business plans. And since 2006, the funding of the capacity building activities was also begun under the capacity building scheme of the Ministry of Tourism itself. Now, the progress that we see from the 11th five-year plan to the 12th five-year plan is like, since the inception of this rural tourism scheme in 2002, the district collectors were the nodal officers who were given the responsibility to handle the rural tourism projects in their districts. But due to their workload and many other problems, they were not giving adequate attention to the rural tourism projects. So in 2008, the implementation of RTPs was therefore entrusted to the State Tourism Department from the district collectors. And in the 10th five-year plan, that is from 2000 up to 2006 to 7, the rural tourism projects at 103 sites had been sanctioned. In the first 4 years of the 11th plan, 69 rural sites had been sanctioned, and however the progress was that 38 of 103 sites sanctioned in the 10th plan and 11 out of 69 sites sanctioned in the first 4 years of the 11th plan had been commissioned by the 31st of March 2011. Next is wildlife tourism. Now, the wildlife circuits are aimed at few points. They are sustainable, ecological, and nature-centric development across the multitude of national and wildlife preserves and sanctuaries in India. The major two circuits, or I can just give two examples. One is Assam Wildlife Circuit, which consists of Manas, Nameri, Kaziranga, Dibru, etc. And the Madhya Pradesh Wildlife Circuit, which has the Panna National Park, the Pench National Park, etc. Meghalaya Tourism Board, in their 2011-12 policy, they talked about wildlife and ecotourism growing in the region. So, as Meghalaya has a very diverse wildlife, apart from the well-known Balpakram National Park in the South Garo Hills, there are other national parks and biosphere reserves and wildlife sanctuaries which can be developed and they can be promoted as wildlife tourism sites. Now, tourism department should have a coordination with the forest department for the further development and the improvement, and they will be continuing to grow all these sites. Now, the next tourism type is sustainable tourism. In 1988, UNWTO, the United Nations World Tourism Organization, defined sustainable tourism as leading to management of all resources in such a way that the economic, social, and aesthetic needs can be fulfilled while maintaining the cultural integrity, essential ecological process, biological diversity, and life support system. Now, the basic concept of sustainable tourism lies in the carrying capacity of that place. There should be a balance between the environmental, the economic, and the socio-cultural aspects, and it should attempt to minimize its impact on the environment and the local culture. Now, to develop sustainable tourism, there are few niche tourism products which Ministry of Tourism has focused on, and those are adventure, medical, wellness, golf, polo, cruise, the MICE sector, pilgrimage or spiritual travel, film tourism, eco, wildlife, and caravan tourism. So all these sectors, if are taken care of, we can lead towards sustainable tourism. Now, in Ministry of Tourism, in their 12th five-year plan report, they have mentioned that the United Nations Environment Program, the UNEP, and UNWTO brought out a publication entitled Making Tourism More Sustainable, a guide for policymakers. So in that, they have given some agenda for sustainable tourism, which they have extracted and listed out as economic viability, local prosperity, employment quality, social equity, visitor fulfillment, local control, community well-being, cultural richness, physical integrity, biological diversity, resource efficiency, and environmental purity. So these are the various criteria on which the sustainable tourism should be based on. So, considering this agenda, it was very important, necessary to define the criteria for sustainable tourism which suits Indian conditions. So, accordingly, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India convened a national workshop on sustainable tourism criteria for India in July 2010. Based on the recommendations of this national workshop on sustainable tourism criteria, a subcommittee was chaired by Joint Secretary of Tourism, Government of India, and comprising expert stakeholders has been constituted for defining the STCI and the indicators for it. The process of ratification of these indicators and criteria by the Industry Association, it's still in progress. The next tourism type is responsible tourism. So it is a type of tourism which is having features of all the above mentioned tourism, where traveling responsibly, giving due respect to the place when we are traveling, impacting as much as less as possible, and bringing in the local economy, making a shift in the small scale industry, which should be ecological and sustainable. So Outlook Tourism India has taken the initiative to preserve the heritage forms, its arts, monuments, wildlife, traditions, having partnered with various tourism boards like Karnataka, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, and also with the United Nations World Tourism Organization. So to strengthen and promote responsible tourism, Kerala Tourism is planning to take some steps to broad base the RT initiative throughout the state, learning from the pilot locations of Kovalam, Kumarakam, Thekkady, and Wayanad. So it is very essential to distinguish and encourage enterprises that are practicing this RT principles, the responsible tourism principles. So they are planning to introduce and promote a new classification scheme for the tourism service providers based on the principles of global sustainable tourism criteria. So there are different government organizations, local self-help groups, tourism departments, NGOs and Department of Agriculture and Animal Husbandry and Fisheries associated with this responsible tourism task force. Now, new subsidy system has been promoted, has been brought into practice to promote the responsible tourism. So in order to promote the RT practices within the state, some incentives were linked and which were introduced. The existing investment subsidy schemes would be they were to be withdrawn by 2030. A new system was to be introduced where 15% of the total investment, subject to a maximum ceiling limit of 20 lakhs, will be provided for investors classified under the responsible tourism. And department will also provide some industrial tariff on the electricity charges for the first 5 years of establishment of the who are classified as the responsible tourism, under responsible tourism. So these were all the most important tourism types which are prevalent in India and gaining grounds in different state tourism policies. So I'll be linking all the sources in the description for further studies. If you want to read more about the particular tourism types, you can check those links. And also a PDF will be available on my website very soon. Do let me know by commenting if the classes are useful enough to you. And the next video will be on the tourism types based on culture, heritage, and history. So stay tuned and see you all in my next class.